Elizabeth breaking barriers in religion. Queen Elizabeth is a former monarch of England. She reigned from 1558 to 1603. During her reign, she broke many barriers in religion, government, economy, and more. She is most well known for executing Queen Mary of Scotland, defeating the Spanish Armada, and her impact on England's economy. She is an extremely important figure in England's history, and without her, much of Europe would be very different. England before Elizabeth was an unstable kingdom. Her father, King Henry VIII, had 6 wives. His second wife, Anne Boleyn, was Queen Elizabeth's mother. Anne Boleyn was executed when Elizabeth was just 2 years old in 1536. Her execution influenced many of Elizabeth's decisions. When Elizabeth was just 8 years old, she proclaimed that she would never marry. At the time, everyone thought that this was just some childish nonsense, but she kept her word. My reign began in a very tumultuous time for England. My half-sister, Queen Mary I, started a religious civil war when she started to execute Protestants. I need to set this right. I must create something that will unite my people under one church. I will create the religious settlement. The religious settlement will be made from 2 acts of Parliament, the Act of Supremacy and the Act of Uniformity. The Act of Supremacy will make me the Supreme Governor of the Church of England. This will mean that instead of the Roman Catholic Church controlling the Church of England, I will control the Church. This will prevent the Roman Catholic Church from influencing England any further. The Act of Uniformity will introduce the Book of Common Prayer. The Book of Common Prayer will have both Catholic and Protestant beliefs. The Book of Common Prayer will also dictate how the English church service is formatted. I know that there will be many challenges to this settlement, but I hope that it will be one of many steps to freedom of religion. But I know that I will face much opposition for my idea. I have already heard that my cousin, Queen Mary of Scotland, plots to take my throne. I cannot allow this to happen. She will ruin everything I have accomplished. Queen Elizabeth imprisoned Mary for treason for 19 years before executing her on February 8, 1587, when a plot to murder Elizabeth was discovered. Shortly after Queen Mary's execution, the Spanish sent an armada to Tilbury. During the 1500s, the Spanish were renowned for their military strength, and the English troops were terrified of facing them. There was uncertainty as to what they should do. So Elizabeth traveled to Tilbury and rallied her forces with one of her most famous speeches. My loving people, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety to take heed how we commit ourselves to armed multitudes, for fear of treachery. But I assure you, I do not desire to live to distrust my faithful and loving people. Let tyrants fear. I have always so behaved myself that, under God, I have placed my chiefest strength and safeguard in the loyal hearts and goodwill of my subjects. And therefore, I am come amongst you, as you see, at this time, not for my recreation and disport, but being resolved, in the midst and heat of battle, to live and die amongst you all, to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and my people, my honor and my blood, even in the dust. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too. And think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm, to which rather than any dishonor shall grow by me, I myself will take up arms. I myself will be your general, judge, and rewarder of every one of your virtues in the field. I know already, for your forwardness, you have deserved rewards and crowns, and we do assure you, on a word of a prince, they shall be duly paid. In the meantime, my lieutenant general shall be in my stead, than who never prince commanded a more noble or worthy subject, not doubting but by your obedience to my general, by your concord in the camp, and your valor in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory over these enemies of my God, of my kingdom, and of my people. Elizabeth rallied her troops with this speech, and through a combination of the weather and strategic moves, England won the battle. England had done what seemed impossible and defeated the Spanish with both a smaller army and a woman leading them. But Elizabeth did not just break barriers through war and violence. She also took England from debt and restored economic prosperity to the country. England is in debt for my dim-witted forebears. We have been in debt since my father, and neither my half-sister or my half-brother have done anything about it. I love my country, but we cannot continue this way. We have no official trading ports, and we are in desperate need of a way to make money and pay our debts. I have been informed of a man named Thomas Gresham who plans on making a massive building that will house trade and commerce, and he needs my authorization in order to go through with his plan. I will judge his idea, and if it meets my expectations, his building shall become England's first royal exchange. Elizabeth was extremely pleased with Thomas's idea, and thus became the Royal Exchange. The Royal Exchange became the center of all market and trade within England, and allowed other countries to trade with England freely. This exchange is one of the leading reasons as to why England found economic prosperity during Elizabeth's reign. However, much of her reign would not have been possible if it wasn't for her strong education during a time that thought that a woman could never be as smart as a man. That prince said that I was as smart as any prince. I want to be smart in my own right, not some prince's. I mastered English and Latin by the time I was 5. By age 11, I could read, speak, and write Italian fluently. Throughout my schooling, I learned 11 languages, including French, Greek, Spanish, Flemish, and Welsh. And I didn't just learn languages. I studied history, philosophy, geometry, literature, and more. I know that most women are uneducated, but I am not most women. I am a queen, and I wish to be said that I am as smart as any queen, and I don't need a king to take away my power. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too. I am the rightful ruler of my subjects, not some French or Spanish fool. I have done so much for my country. I have secured us a proper military. I have started England on the path to freedom of religion, and I have forwarded the wealth and education of the world. I pray that after my time, England will continue to grow and prosper and remember me as one of her greatest rulers. Elizabeth did not know the impact she would have on English history. She had permanently changed England by reducing, if not eliminating, the barriers that had long stood for people in religion, military, education, and more. She was a catalyst for how women are perceived in the world. Queen Elizabeth I was a former monarch of England. She reigned from 1558 to 1603. During her reign, she broke many barriers in finance, women's rights, and more. She is most well known for executing Queen Mary of Scotland, defeating the Spanish Armada, and her impact on England's economy. She is an extremely important figure in England's history, and without her, much of Europe would be very, very different.